The biggest mistake I made in my business was not hiring a professional to help me with my money. Not just my taxes, but the actual plan I had for my business. I was completely lost on how to handle taxes, what to do with profit, and how to maintain my income. I had to find a better way. That's when I found Core Financial. Core Financial is a team of tax professionals that actually care about building real relationships with their clients. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all of my tax benefits. Are you struggling with your finances? Look no further. Core Financial is a brand that is nationwide that can help you with your business. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core, and they can help you too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to schedule a consultation today. Core Financial, real relationships, no surprises. It seems like there are new cameras and equipment coming out all the time. It gets incredibly confusing and the FOMO is real. Nick and I have been preaching for years that the best way to try out new gear is to rent before you buy. And there is only one place we recommend when it comes to renting, and that is our friends over at Lens Rentals. Lens Rentals is the premier source for renting not only camera equipment, but lenses, drones, projectors, and more. Have a big project coming up and you need to really wow your couple? Wanting to test out the newest camera before you drop thousands on it? You need Lens Rentals. My favorite thing is that if I love something I rent, I can keep it. They apply a portion of the rental fee to the purchase price, and with a few simple clicks, that gear is mine. Check out the latest promo codes and promotions at howtofilmweddings.com/Lens Rentals. Lens Rentals, the only place we recommend renting. Hello and welcome to How to Film Weddings. Nick, it is a big day. Our friends from Sculpting With Time, Alex and Whitney Douglas, joined the podcast to talk all things Vision Quest. I don't know if you haven't heard about it, but it's a pretty big deal. We talk all about it in this episode. We break down some of the thought process behind their wedding films, just how they work together with husband and wife team. It's pretty great stuff.
Yeah. Really great stuff. Really excited about Vision Quest. We might even have a special fun offer. So need to stick around until the end of the podcast to hear that. But good offer, John. I want to let you know I'm at my mom's house in Colorado, where I got a wedding out here this weekend. And so we're here for the week. So my setup's different. I left my podcast mic at home. So if I sound different, sorry. But I'm here at my mom's house.
And also in the middle of this recording, my audition crapped out. So I'm just using the internet audio with my good mic. But if it doesn't sound perfect, that's okay, because this content is solid. Alex and Whitney talk all about a lot of great things. And Nick, if you're okay with it, we can just jump into this week's episode.
Let's do it.
All right, we are here with the legends, Sculpting With Time. They don't need an introduction. They've won all of the awards. They're highly known as one of the best, if not the best, wedding filmmaking husband and wife teams on the planet. Alex and Whitney Douglas. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's
Doing
up?
good. Happy to be here with y'all.
Don't know if we're deserving of such a title, but it's flattering nonetheless. Thank you.
I mean, it's at least top 100, right, Nick?
I'll take
I
it.
think that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That makes me feel better.
Well, good. Well, we've had you guys on once before. We're happy to have you back. We just wanted to, a lot of big things coming up. You've got Vision Quest, all the things. We want to talk about that, and we will in just a little bit. But for those of you, those out there that might not know you guys, why don't you just tell us when you started, where you're from, what you kind of focus on, that sort of a thing as a quick introduction.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to take it?
Sure. We're from Houston. We're based out of Houston. We kind of travel all around the world now doing weddings. It kind of is not sort of a easily trackable or traceable process of how we got to where we are, but just kind of jumping on every opportunity that presented itself and trying our best to knock each one of those out of the park. And somehow now we shoot maybe 17, 15 weddings a year, and maybe 2 of them are in Houston, and the rest of them are all destinations, which I think that's romanticized, and it is a lot of fun getting to go to all new locations and have these beautiful backdrops. But there is sort of a price to pay with that, especially having a family. Now we have a 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And just all the traveling and everything.
But after a year of no traveling, it is something I am equally excited and totally intimidated by the idea. Looking at our calendar, we're starting a gauntlet here in like another 2 weeks or so. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't done this type of traveling in so long. Like, how are we going to do this? And excited, nervous, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm totally with you guys. I was like, oh man, being travel would be so cool. I'm not going like all over the world crazy like, you guys are, but I think this year I shot my only local wedding like 2 weeks ago, and everywhere else, is at least like 3 hours away or 5 hours away or a plane ride away or something. So I feel you when it comes to that. Be nice to go, but it's also nice to stay, and everyone likes the idea of travel. But when you get into it, it's a whole different thing whenever you get going in there. So let's. What were you gonna say? Go for it.
Oh no, I'd say definitely for me the benefit of it is kind of allowing that location to be sort of like a third character kind of in our films, and we love getting to sort of vibe off the place and kind of just really saturate ourselves in the sort of culture, what makes it special, and why this couple chose to get married there, that it'll kind of forever be ingrained, in their hearts and minds as part of their wedding. And so kind of honoring that. And then creatively, it just makes it a lot easier to not have every shot, just specifically be about the bride and groom and, get to focus on some more of the cinematics and stuff.
And it keeps it fresh, right? Because you're not doing the same place each time. And so, the benefit of local weddings is there, and the benefit of destination is there, because you're not trying to recreate the wheel all the time and give people new stuff, right? So.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Like, I just am finishing up a wedding I did in Charleston, and before that I did one in Cabo, and it's like using that as a third character is so much fun to do and so invigorating, and the creative process. And that's one thing I've really gleaned from you all, being your friends over the last few years, watching the process of all that goes into your films. It's not a cookie cutter experience with you all. It's definitely not you see a film that's yours and it's like, oh, of course, that's Sculpting with Time. You have your brand, you've got this all, laid out. It's it's very well thought out and very intentional. It's often duplicated, tried to be duplicated, but you lean into lots of different things in your films, the way that you produce them. I guess my question would be more on the line of your inspiration, where you're not getting your inspiration, I don't think, from a lot of other wedding filmmakers or things like that. So where do you guys find inspiration, and how do you see that coming through in your wedding films?
Well, I'll say with inspiration though, guys, I think what we watch and what we consume and the things that we're moved by, it's other films, it's music videos, it's commercials you see, ads you see, it's the whole visual world around us that I think helps inform us and kind of inform our aesthetic. And I think it's our backgrounds being a little bit different too. I was a fine artist. I studied painting, so I feel like that kind of informs me in a little bit of a different way. And Alex, went to film school, and so he has this super film buff historical reference points that you kind of touch upon, right?
Yeah, I would say, of course, what Whitney was saying, being a sponge with culture and art and history, and kind of letting that absorb all that and figuring out ways to kind of find my voice. But I would say nowadays it's really just exciting to not make the same film every time. I would say that's probably what is the most exciting and inspiring thing, is just trying to really pull out things from our couples or our locations, and allow our filmmaking style to be more of a chameleon, to where it's not trying to fit this couple into a square peg into a round hole. kind of building the whole for them to kind of fit into. And if you go on our website, a lot of our films are, not all of them, but some of them are very different as far as the tone, the vibe, the approach, the aesthetic. And normally that would be something I feel like that companies would shy away from or be, scared of, to kind of muddy their brand or not have a distinct look or feel. But it's worked out for us because you end up getting a lot of couples that we just have them look at our website and we're like, which film resonates with you? And based off of that, we have a lot better idea of kind of what type of couple they are or what they're looking for in their wedding.
Well, and I think what you said is interesting, because I think like we all hear it all the time, and you like are getting tips from social media experts that consistency is key, and you want your IG grid to all be a similar palette, and you want that brand consistency. And I think that is a great thing for so many people, and it really helps define their brand. But I think for us, it's been unique kind of shying away from that. Like whatever is consistent with our brand is maybe a particular type of editing technique or attention to cinematography. But some of our films are going to be like uber dramatic with like the bride crying, and it's going to feel much more conceptual. And some are party films that are upbeat. One we did past year or so was super vintage Hollywood vibes, down from like the bride and groom to the music. And so it's fun for us with each couple. You have the location to play with as a way to make your films unique, but then how do I get the particular tone and vibe of this couple, and how can I like make the viewer so saturated in that feeling that this film is really unique to the couple? And I think we attract a lot of really unique couples because of that, because they want something to feel just like them. They don't want a recreation of another wedding or another film, and they have fun with the idea, and they kind of want to be a part of the process with us.
Sorry, to briefly piggyback on that. Yeah, I think also like our films are just kind of bold or over the top in one way or another. And so as for the clients, like it's also very inspiring to have clients that kind of want to take that like creative leap with us. Usually a lot of our clients are very excited about the process or wanting something different, and having our brand and our films kind of take some risks as far as kind of disrupting the norm or whatever, as kind of people's expectations of what kind of traditional wedding stuff is. People are either going to love our stuff, like as far as brides and grooms, or they're not, which I'm fine with. But the ones that do like our stuff, they're really going to like it. And so they want to like co-participate, co-create with us. And they're just really kind of excited about the product and the end result, or the process even.
Makes it fun.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that, I've said before, you watch your films and, you can obviously, even though I know you guys are kind of changing your styles a little bit in your approach, based on your couple, it's a very distinct style, Sculpting with Time. And one thing that I pick up on is, you're watching it and, you have, your clock ticking randomly, or you just have these things. And I'm sure if someone that like didn't know might think, well, why are they throwing this random stuff here? Why is this random thing? Like they don't get it. But spending a little bit of time with you, Alex, and how you think, I know like everything that you are doing is super intentional. And I know if I said, why did you do this at 1 minute and 30 seconds in your film? You could, have an answer for me why you did that. And as I talk to other filmmakers and I'm watching their films, I'm like, that's the thing that really inspires me about you guys, is you have this down about, you're intentional, like just being intentional with what you're doing, even though you're thinking outside of the box. And when I talk to other filmmakers and doing mentor sessions and stuff, like, okay, you need to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why did you put this flower shot here whenever you're talking about the relationship with mom and daughter? Like, why don't you like show a clip of mom and daughter? Like, just those kind of things. And so I think that is so cool how you're able to be intentional, yet do something that most people, even if they tried really, really hard, they wouldn't be able to even get a close to the style and what you are doing in our industry. So I think that that's really awesome. With all of that, segue into my next question, what's a typical edit for you? How long do you say you work on that? Like, I know that you probably get this question a lot, but what would you say, a 4-minute film, how long do you think that would take you to edit it how you edit it?
That's a good question. I try not to time myself because I would just hate myself, and it's not a good business model really either. But it's just, for whatever reason, the main reason that our films kind of end up the way they are is just, I want to just create something that I am enjoying the process of making and enjoying the final results. And, for everyone that's different, but for me, whatever is going on up here, that's the way I see being at peace with my edits. But everything is just super, super detail oriented, really precise, watching things over and over, and just really not letting things go. And then, stepping back, starting another project, coming back to this one, seeing if my heart or mind is still in the same place, seeing how we can adjust things. But I would say, I don't know.
I don't even know if you could put a time on it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not sequential though, so it feels easier. Like I said, I'll take a step back and work on another project. But I'd say in the 2 to 3 week, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's actually refreshing to watch you actually try to quantify that, because it is a non-quantifiable thing for you, and it's like a refreshing, I need to surround myself with more true artists, because my natural go-to is efficiency, and that's just so many of us think, okay, I got to get this edit done. I got to get this. I got to pay the bills. I got to do it. And that does make sense to an extent. But when you said being at peace with the edit, I don't think a lot of people are thinking that way. That's a huge thing that I've seen, and is knowing the two of you is just you really are pushing it past the limit and then some, until you're at peace with the edit. This is the best thing that I could produce. Here it is. There's no second chance on it. And that's really refreshing. And so, I think that some of us out there need to hear something like that. It's not just about deadlines and getting things out the door. It's, pushing the art and pushing creatively to get out of your comfort zone, wherever that might be. You might not be creating something is incredible, or a detail, but we should all be pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone and getting to a place where we're at peace with those edits. So I know you guys could go on for a lot about that, but you go ahead.
One thing I could add to that just is that as artists, and I do consider what we're doing as an art form, but as artists, you are going to be your harshest critic, hopefully, and you're also going to be your only boss. I mean, sure, you have your clients, but they're pretty subjective, and they have a relationship to the content, so they're just going to love it pretty much regardless. But you're going to be your harshest critic as an artist, and you can either, it depends on what you're trying to do as far as what your business model is, and there's no right or wrong way to run a business, but being your own boss, you can push something out the door and say it's done, or you can lash yourself on the back 100 times a day, until and just never be kind of happy with your end result.
And part of that, I think, maybe is, are you approaching it as a business person that's running your own studio, your own company, and hey, you've got to be efficient to a certain degree, right? Or is that kind of motivating factor a little bit of that artistic fulfillment? you can't rest until it's perfect for yourself. It's not even for other people, but you want to feel really good about it and know that you have done the best you can. And that's what's going to mean that you make it to the finish line, is your own fulfillment from the project.
Yeah, that's good. I know you guys could go on and on for that topic, but I want to ask before we went to break. We've seen this a lot in groups and different things, just about like the team aspect of it. I know Nick and his wife were a husband-wife team. I'm not, my wife does not help do the business or shoot or anything. Why don't you talk about that to those husband-wife teams out there, a little bit about maybe some motivation for being a husband-wife team. And if you want to break down some of the roles that you guys have, I think that would be really interesting to hear.
I feel like for us, it works really well because we have different strengths and we're both really like focused in and honed in on what we do. And I feel like probably for most husband-wife teams, it's something similar to that. Alex is our editor, which is where the magic's happening, and he can shoot something and make it look so. I see him like cringing.
But while I'm doing the editing, she's like even like the producer of the edit. Like there's nothing that doesn't pass her desk and get her stamp of approval, but not even stamp of approval, but like each segment or each portion of the edit, she's like, no, I wouldn't do that, I do this, or so even in that process of me being the quote unquote editor, she's still very much
it's still a tag team effort. That's what I think is painful sometimes. He's got this edit and he spent so much time on it, and he's like, okay, I want you to watch it, and I watch it, and like maybe I point out something that I'd change, or maybe this or that. And it's something that as a husband-wife team, we all know it is super unpleasant, but it really pushes us to make decisions maybe we wouldn't, or to think about it from another perspective. And it really elevates the work. And so it's something that as a husband-wife, you should be delicate about. But I think like that's where you complement each other so much, is by pointing out the things that the other person misses. And so I feel like we do that in all aspects of our business, but I do feel like for the most part, Alex is doing our editing, and like he's just an amazing cinematographer. And I'm doing like all of our design work, all of our client interactions. I'm doing pre-production for our weddings before we go on them. So I kind of have an idea of what we want to shoot, what locations we may want, and kind of I spend more time getting to know our couples, so I get a better idea maybe of who they are and what direction we can kind of take each film, leading up to even being on the wedding. Right?
Yeah. Whitney also does a lot of like storyboarding for our films. And then while we are shooting, she's kind of, a lot of the times if she's not shooting, she's telling me a lot of the time what to shoot. And it's easier to kind of have one person be like strictly technical and then the other person be more like directing or producing, because I feel like I have tunnel vision a lot of the times when I'm in front of the camera, and she has a lot more peripheral vision and kind of can see a lot of the dynamics that are at play, or things that would be a lot more interesting than what I'm actually shooting to, incorporate or shoot, or, just little things that we can play with in post that maybe don't seem significant in the moment, but just like grabbing all these little details of things that give us a lot more ammunition for post-production, the edit process.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like, how you're talking about the edit is very similar to what Jen and I do. And, if you're sitting out there listening, you're like, well, I don't, my wife or my husband doesn't want anything to do this, or I'm single, or, there's, like one thing that John and I always share about is you need to, it's really great to find someone that can help you, bounce ideas off of and do that creative stuff. Or, you finish an edit, you're not sure about it, get another pair of eyeballs on it. So there's things that Alex and Whitney are saying that might not be, applicable to you in the married sense, or, the spouse sense, they don't want to help you, but you can find people to help you do that. One thing that we are really excited about, in just a couple months' time from now, Vision Quest is upon us. It is here. It is an event like no other event that we have been to, and we are really, really excited to talk about that and hear about it, and we will do that right after this break.
Hi, it's Michael from Wedditor. We want to thank everyone for the incredible support we've received since sponsoring How to Film Weddings. Yes, we've had some growing pains, but we've had far more wins. And we're doing something that's never been done. We're a remote team of over 50 editors in 10 countries. I often joke that we're as much a logistics company as we are a creative company. Right now, demand is off the charts. And we don't just say yes to everyone and scramble to figure it out. That's why we're asking you to help us help more of you. In short, we're looking for more talented Wedditors. Part-time or full-time, work from where you want, when you want, as long as you hit deadlines and deliver quality. It's a chance to get paid while growing as an editor. Our project managers work with you, explaining why something feels right or doesn't, because there's always a reason. If you're interested, we'd love to hear from you. Go to wedditor.com/editor and fill out our form.
Finding the perfect song for your wedding film can be so frustrating. We spend countless hours searching for the perfect song. When it comes to licensing music, Nick and I both love MusicBed. Not only do they have the best music, but their website makes it so easy to find the perfect song and to find it fast. We have both been using the MusicBed's wedding subscription for years and cannot recommend it enough. Not only are they adding new music from incredible musicians like Chapters, The Light, The Heat, and Tony Anderson all the time, they've made it incredibly easy to search their library for mood, genre, instrumentation, and even key. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and use promo code HTFW for a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription. howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed.
Okay, we are back from break with Alex and Whitney of Sculpting with Time. We are going to talk about Vision Quest here in 1 second, but first, we need to watch something.
FOMO is real, y'all. That's all I have to say about that. Man, hype is an understatement. My blood pressure went up during that. It's so fun to watch you guys put that stuff together. Guys, Vision Quest is here.
So excited.
Tell us all the things. Tell us all the things.
What?
All right. Well, that video gets me super hyped. Like, I've watched it 150 times, and I still am like, do I get to go to this? Because this is awesome. We are so super excited about this. You know, we would have done this every single year if we could have, had it not been for the pandemic. And so we have waited 2 years to make this happen again. I think the experience that we created, that you guys were a part of in 2019, was like super transformative for a lot of people in their business. And personally, I think it made us all feel connected to a larger community. It made us feel like, oh, other people are having the same hardships as we are. It inspired us. It was just a really cool platform for a lot of incredible filmmakers and incredible people to come together and learn from each other and inspire each other. And we have been waiting to make this happen again. And I think it's going to literally be bigger and better than last time. we're super pumped.
Yeah, she said it pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely a labor of love. We even this edition of Vision Quest, it took us a few months at least to be able to get that lineup together. That lineup is, to me, just a pretty over-the-top, spectacular lineup of just a lot of really talented filmmakers that we look up to. Obviously, there are other filmmakers that are amazing as well, that weren't included in that. But for us, we're really trying to curate an experience and bring together filmmakers that are all really sort of pushing boundaries in different ways. They're not all pushing boundaries in the same way, which I think is cool. But they're all doing their own part to kind of push in a different direction past kind of what sort of those barriers were originally there. I also think it's kind of a unique event because I would say, once you get to a certain point in your kind of intermediate to advanced in wedding filmmaking, you kind of feel like there's not really a place for you to kind of go to an event. And so we really wanted to create a space that it's sort of the mantra is always the student, never the master. So no matter how far advanced you are, no matter how successful you are, that you're still always in pursuit of knowledge. And the hardest thing to quantify or to kind of recharge in our industry, since we are all artists, is creativity and inspiration. And inspiration is sort of the driving force that keeps you going, keeps the machine going. You're always on call, at will to create these huge, massive works that people are going to remember for the rest of their lives. And you just kind of have to be inspired, on the drop of the hat. So it's really easy to kind of get stuck in that wheel, and just kind of be working these projects over and over. And you need a place to recharge. And so that's what this was kind of dreamt up as just sort of a place to kind of connect with other filmmakers, that maybe we only have these forums where we kind of present our best versions of ourselves and, just want pats on the back for our work, or want to compare ourselves to other filmmakers, or get jealous when they release something cool and wish we would have done that. But, we need to be able to, as much as we want to hear people speak that are masters of their crafts, we need to be able to connect with our community and other like-minded filmmakers that are going through the same things that we're going through. So yeah, it's really about the whole thing is about connecting, getting inspired again, and sort of just all taking that next step to kind of level up.
Yeah, that was one thing that when we were there, it really differentiated from other things is just the focus on the connection with who you are as a human being, to the soul level, down to why you're doing what you're doing. And that makes sense. Vision Quest, going out on a quest to really get the, the vision for where you're going and where you're doing things and why you're doing things. And that was cool. From the moment we got there last time, just being able, it was just a deeper level, as opposed to just I'm here to get some education. It's not that. It's this year a 3-day thing where you're connecting in real life, and you're there and you're growing as people. You're connecting with other people, and that's a lot of times the best part of all something like this is just getting to know somebody that ever would have connected with in real life ever before, and leaning into them on the hardships that they're going through or why they're doing it, and that inspiration, just that one little thing that can inspire you leaving from an event like that. Not to mention just fun activities that you guys are going to be doing, as well as, like you said, the lineup, which is pretty insane as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate kind of the heart that you have with that, with the connection, but also it's no matter where you are in your filmmaking journey, how long you've been in business, you can always learn from someone, and kind of that, I really appreciate that you have, created a space for people that have been doing it for, quite a while to connect, to learn, and to grow and push the borders and all of that. Whenever we went a couple years ago, I definitely felt that, and I definitely experienced that. I loved, seeing, meeting you guys, in person and talking to you in person, but, all the other people that we got to meet, the social aspect is great, but also, you're having top-notch filmmakers, you're having top-notch people come and teach and educate, but also there was the focus on, like John was saying, not just the craft, but also like personally the soul, like how can we, kind of be better people or deal with, the why we're doing this kind of stuff. So I love the approach. I love the feel. It's a little bit a different take on, the classic workshop that if you want to think of it that way. So I had a great time, and I'm excited for it.
Well, and like to piggyback off of what you said, not only do we have top-notch speakers that are going to be leading people and sharing their information, but like the people that are attending are top-notch filmmakers that you can learn so much from. That's what's so cool about it. There's no hierarchy here. You're a teacher and then you're learning. Like we can all learn from each other on such a massive level, whether it's during, the actual educational programming we have, or it's all the after-hours events that we have.
There's still 15 hours of like intense, educational programming. It's not all hanging out, but yeah, like Whitney was saying.
Yeah, like I think that you can get so much from talking to people in between breaks, or like we're gonna do like we did last year, like an extended lunch hour and bring in a food truck, serving up Texas's best barbecue, and like you're gonna get to chat with people then, and like you can learn from the other people that are attending as much as you can learn from the actual speakers. But the fact that we're kind of all there together sharing it is what makes it special. And I think that having all the after hours events is another thing that sets it apart, because you can go into, and I don't consider Vision Quest a workshop, but if you went to a workshop, you might just show up there and you sit through all the different lectures and presentations, and then you kind of hope you know someone or you met someone so you can go hang out and have something to do the rest of the night, right? But we're kind of making this full entire experience with people, where we're doing boat cruises with live music and tacos and kegs, and creating that real sense of community throughout the 3 days. That's one of the main reasons we decided to add on a third day, is because we felt like we were so jam-packed with like education and like the inspiration element that we needed some like slow down, chill time with everyone too, outside of just the nighttime events. So we're super pumped about our day 3, because Alex and I are both native Texans and we like grew up doing this, and it's such an iconic Texan tradition that this was kind of Alex's brainchild, so I'll let him talk about it. But like we were super excited about our third day edition this year.
No, we just always want Vision Quest to kind of be like our films, and just kind of be bold and over the top, but also unexpected, keep people on the edge of their seats. And then just what could we do that would just feel kind of, what could we do to like blow people's minds? So we're like, we did the boat cruise and the bat tour and the put a crazy 80s synth pop band on the boat with them with tacos and margaritas, and then we'll have someone from the band Survive DJ afterwards. And Survive was the band that did the soundtrack to Stranger Things. So just kind of like all unexpected things. So we're like, okay, what's another thing we can do? Well, why don't we just figure out a way to charter a bus all the way down to the Guadalupe River, and let's have, 80 or 90 people all go tubing down the river together in inner tubes. You got all these beautiful oak trees and cypress and cedar trees, and you're just kind of wading down the river, passing time, and it's just a great sort of office for the day to kind of share all your, business triumphs and struggles, and kind of just brainstorm together. And we kind of touched on it earlier, but I think it's pretty cool that what makes Vision Quest unique is so many of the attendees could literally be the speakers, themselves. Like they're at that level. Like Jason Magbuana from the Philippines, who's considered like one of the main OGs of our industry, is flying all the way from the Philippines to just come hang out, you know. And
So excited to meet him,
yeah,
by the way,
we're
guys.
so honored that
so
he's gonna
excited.
come. I flew all the way to Australia when I first started doing weddings to go to a workshop, and he was one of the speakers there. And so that's the only time I met him. But I don't know, just sort of that, it's just a great kind of testament to that sort of always the student, never the master. What does he have to gain? You know, he's successful. He's been doing it long enough. He's like a god or celebrity in the Philippines. And still, you know, he's always kind of pursuing that refinement of his skills. And there are plenty of people, not flying from the Philippines, but there are plenty of people that are very successful that are coming to just hang out as well.
Like you guys. You guys are
Yeah,
gonna be there.
we're coming to hang out, which is, I mean, you know, number one on the list of cool people. No, I'm just kidding. No, and that's like, I mean, as you're talking about all these things, it's just like it'll like, I want the days to go quick so that it'll get here. But yeah, the whole idea, like when you're hanging out with other people, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen him in forums and groups and his films are great. Or yeah, I've seen her and she's killing it. And it's like there's a community of people that doesn't just stop that day. You know, there's it continues afterwards. And that's been pretty cool to see since the last, Vision Quest and things like that. Some of the details, I guess. So everybody out there that's listening that might not know it yet, when is it going to be? Do you want to talk about some of the speakers, you talked about a couple of the details, but you just kind of want to lay it out for us, kind of what the event is, or do you want them just to go straight to the site? What's better for you guys?
I think we should lay it out for
sure.
a second.
Yeah.
So it is September 20th through the 22nd. We will be having an open night happy hour check-in on September 19th. So we're encouraging people to get to Austin early enough to come hang and
That's a Sunday.
get to mingle and get to know each other before day one starts on Monday.
But if you can't make it because you're shooting a wedding on Sunday for whatever reason, it's just an opening night happy hour. It'll still be very nice, but if you can't make it, you can still come to the rest of the event.
Yeah, and we have, in 2019, I feel like, this is like the most killer lineup. This is like the Woodstock of wedding conferences. And so this year we knew we had to do something a little bit different. And so we brought on some new people that were like just so super thankful and super excited to get to meet in person, to learn from. We have a few people joining us from overseas, which is really cool because last year we were all US-based filmmakers. We have Fire and Ice coming, Christian from Fire and Ice coming. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they are absolutely crushing it. They're so insanely talented in their films, but also their photos. And I mean, they have just like catapulted their business the past few years, and their cinematography is beautiful and their editing's cool. And like, I just think they are some of the best of the best. So we're super excited to be adding them this year.
Yep. And we're bringing along Philip Bloom, who obviously has a long history with most of us filmmakers that, started out and have been watching his reviews of cameras for a long time, or watching his films, or watching just how he's always been able to squeeze the most out of the camera technology that he's working with. So I think it'll be cool to bring him along from England as well, to kind of bring something a little different to the conference. So it's just a different perspective, I guess, than solely everyone being only coming from weddings. And then we're bringing along this year a little long distance, Josh Helton, who is an amazing filmmaker and has just been doing a lot of like really beautiful things for our industry with how he's approached his films. And he's just overall a really, really nice guy, amazing guy.
And Matt Johnson is going to be joining us as well. In 2019, he and David Aguilar from Archaeus did live wedding film critiques for a good hour and a half during our extended lunch break. And it was a big highlight for the event. Everyone got to watch each other's work and then just get so much input from two like brilliant minds that were kind of breaking it all down.
Yeah. And we also might have a few just sort of unannounced tricks up our sleeve that we're going to keep everyone kind of guessing on until a little bit closer, but be prepared for a little bit more excitement to be revealed.
Definite surprises.
And I don't know.
We will be there
Yeah,
speaking
we'll be there.
as well. So we're going to kind of get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of our films, maybe do some film breakdowns, and also kind of touch on some of the inspirational, aspirational kind of ways that we're conceptually thinking about creating our films. We will be having Henry from the Brothers Martins coming, who is always a favorite.
And just crushing it and at the top of the game. All these people are.
Everyone is. So
yeah,
we
we're going to use the same.
say that on everyone.
Yeah.
We're having this year Joey Matthews with Aaron Tharp from 31 Films coming, and they are going to be doing this whole badass lighting demo for us for an hour with their full kit, because they light like all of their projects. They're huge in the commercial world. And
as well as weddings.
As well as weddings, yeah. And so we're going to be having them do a really hands-on thing, showing us their full kit. We have Sharon from Story Films coming to stay with us the whole event, so we will all have time with her.
Yeah, last time she dropped in, just to say hello, but this time she's going to hang out the whole time, so we're super excited.
Mm-hmm. Nice. We're beaming in Bottle Brush Films. We tried to get them to come, but it seems like travel might be an issue. But they're going to be doing a whole thing for us with talking all about branding, because they have like the coolest branding around. And we've got a lot happening. We're having Jordan join us again, Jordan Bunn from Film Mavericks, who put on a segment of Vision Quest that I am so proud of. And I know it was something that we really visualized from the very beginning. He didn't talk about how do you use your camera, how do you do this, but he led us in this heart-opening exercise that was just more focused on wellness and being present and being in touch with our emotions, because we want this not to be a technical workshop where you learn stuff about cameras, but also kind of relate to you and all your different facets as a human being, right? And so he's going to be coming back, which was a really special part of Vision Quest last year.
Yeah.
And then we're beaming in a few other people. Is this too much of a monologue?
Let's just say this, and then we're beaming in a few other people.
2 other really cool people.
Yeah.
How can we not talk about it?
Jay Christensen, who is famous for FPV drone flying. He did the bowling alley FPV drone video that blew everyone's minds. I know a lot of wedding people are kind of intrigued or interested by the idea of FPV stuff. So we're beaming him in for a short little talk, as well as...
And then Drew Geraci, who is this top-notch, insane time-lapse expert, but he runs this production studio that does time-lapses and aerial cinematography. And he's the mastermind behind the House of Cards whole title sequence, the intro with all of those time-lapses. He just worked with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg literally called him on set to talk about time lapses and how they could incorporate that in West Side Story that's coming out this winter. And I also saw on Facebook, it's top secret, so he couldn't tell what it was, but they shut down Grand Central and they were flying a drone in there. And it's the first time it's ever been done in Grand Central. So he has this total Hollywood insight and experience. And I think it's neat because it goes back to all of our speakers are approaching their craft and their way of filmmaking in really unique ways. And they're all very distinct and different from each other. But when you really hone in on your own perspective and how you're doing things, you can just take it to another level because you're an original, right? And Drew is totally doing that with his work and has just kind of done amazingly. So we feel like we have this really cool lineup that's given us a big, diverse range of goodness to share with everyone.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's funny, but each one of the people that you're saying, it's you could just go on for 10 minutes about each one of them, about why they're so insanely talented. You're it's Little Long Distance. It's oh, I love, they're so good. They've done so much. It's Brothers Martins. Oh yeah, of course. And everybody that you've named, and you can just tell, similarly to what we were talking about at the first of the podcast with just the attention to detail. and the experience that you're crafting and curating. And I've been, a little bit in the behind the scenes, and as you guys have been building this out, and just knowing the attention to detail that you're putting into everything. If anyone out there is listening and on the fence about whether or not this is worth the investment, it is 100% worth it. You're going to leave super happy with it. Yes, Nick.
But John, I would like to sweeten the pot just a little bit. Like we need to do anything else to get people to want to come to this event. But as this podcast drops, the first 10 people to buy Vision Quest tickets at FOMOisrealyall.com, right? FOMOisrealyall.com. Buy a ticket there. Use promo code HTFW. First 10 people will get to have breakfast with John. And me. I'll be there too. But we'll take you out to breakfast, and you can hang out and sit with us while we eat and talk about whatever you want to talk about. So the next 10 tickets that are sold, HTFW, the promo, you can have breakfast with us.
Yeah, cool. Just to sweeten the pot. I mean, to watch Nick eat breakfast, I mean, my goodness, it's worth the price of admission. If he gets peanut butter and jelly toast again, I'm going to just whatever. He loves a good peanut butter and jelly. But no, we're so excited to be there, to be in person too. Like, we're honored that you guys would have us out and be a small part of it. And like, we just wanted to extend to the listeners out there, put our stamp of approval on this event and say, if you're on the fence about it, if you can make it there, you are going to future you is going to be happy with current you if you do this. And this is something that's going to be an incredible experience, yes, but an investment into your business and your future. I don't know how many people I've seen in the Facebook groups and stuff talking about what it's done for their business and just the connections and the referrals and all that kind of stuff. So if you're on the fence about it, check it out. FOMOisrealyall.com. Use promo code HTFW to come hang out with Nick and me for an extra little bonus. Anything else, Alex Whitney, that you guys want to add about the event before we sign off for today?
Well, I'm curious, just because you guys went to it, and I know you kind of talked about it for a second, but was there one thing that was like a major takeaway for you, or something that you felt was really valuable that was maybe different? Because I'm a big believer in referrals and recommendations and just hearing from people's personal experience.
Yeah. Nick, I can go first because you like me to go first, and you can think while you don't like being put on the hot seat. I had to cut my trip short last time. I was there for half of the event. The connections that I made with people, I was on the boat. I got to do I got to be there for day one. I had to leave out early. But for me, just being in person with people and humanizing others that you idolize or people that you look up to, and just realizing what they've, they're the same, in the same industry. We're all here to help each other. Just that support was the biggest thing for me. Oh, I can do this. I can do just as good or better or create better films. So that inspiration for me, and then just the attention to detail of the experience, like I've said already. But it was just cool. The opening night, it was intentional where it was for the feel of it, the enjoyment factor of it, the where you guys did day one in the theater. It's oh, this is so cool. So that kind of stuff, just that next level. It's a top-notch event from the very beginning. So that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, I agree with John. Incredible. One thing that I love about an event like this is you're listening and you hear these names, Alex and Whitney, or Josh Helton, or Henry Martins, and you're like, oh, they're a celebrity, and you just think all these that they're better than me, or whatever. But then you go to an event like this and you realize, no, they're just cool people that want to talk to you and they want to help you in your business, and just that building those relationships, and the older I get and I go to events like this, yes, I am getting stuff whenever people do their keynotes and they're speaking and that kind of stuff. But I really, really look forward to the times, when we're on a boat and we're all hanging out and having a good time, or we're having drinks at the opening, just to build those relationships and, the stuff that you never know that what can happen for this. I went to the first venture, 5 years ago, and to this day, because of the relationships that I've built, I'm still referring people, or people are still referring me that I met, 5 years ago when I went to that. And just that opportunity like that, talking about furthering your business and, getting better, and what can happen whenever you just meet people and talk to people, and just being inspired to create and, stretch myself to become better. You know, that was the thing that stands out to me and that I am looking forward to again for sure.
Is that a
Love
good
it,
enough
guys.
answer for you guys? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. I know you're very busy planning this event. I know there's only a few tickets left. Like I know they were selling like hotcakes. Go over to FOMOisrealyall.com, buy those tickets, come hang out with all of these incredible speakers. Thank you guys so much for being on. Seriously, we really appreciate it.
It's been an honor.
It's been a while. It's been a lot of fun to see your faces, and we will be excited to get to connect in real life in September.
Thanks so much for having us on.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex and Whitney, for being on the podcast. It was a great episode, Nick. I don't know about you, but I am very excited about Vision Quest. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget that promo code HTFW for a breakfast with Nick and John. Come on. If FOMO wasn't real already, it is now.
Right. So the website is FOMOisrealyall.com. At checkout, make sure you put in the promo code HTFW. The first 10 of you, and there's not many tickets left, the first 10 of you that sign up will get to have breakfast with me and John, and you get to watch me eat. I guess that's a fun thing to do? Because that's what you said.
I can't wait. I can't
wait. John, as always, it has been great to hang out with you. We will see some of you in just a few months at Vision Quest. And until next time, we will see you.
See you guys. Are you looking for a better way to deliver your wedding films to your couples? Look no further. Our friends over at WedFlow provide the most flexible video delivery solution on the market. WedFlow is pay per project with no large upfront cost or commitment, and you can cancel anytime. Not only that, WedFlow offers a premium viewing experience for your couples, accessible on mobile, tablet, desktop, as well as their very own suite of TV apps. Each project comes with 10 years hosting and an experience for your clients that will blow them away. Stop delivering your films the old-fashioned way and give your couples something to rave about. Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/WedFlow to check out WedFlow today.